Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. The blue light. From the phone screen reflected on the wall, the words that were about to meet seemed to burn brightly in the darkness. My heart was pounding, my throat was tight, my legs felt like they were pinned to the floor. I didn't dare to move closer. I could only stare at the broken but still strangely glowing device. I tried to convince myself that it was all just someone's sick joke, that there were no ghosts. But the fear in my chest screamed that this was no joke. Because how could a broken phone still ring and glow in the middle of the night like this? Shakily picked up the phone, my hands drenched in sweat. As my fingers touched the screen, all the lights in the room flickered repeatedly, then suddenly went out. The room was plunged into darkness. Only the cold blue light from the screen remained. For a split second, I heard a soft laugh behind me. A weak but creepy sound, like the laughter of someone who was no longer alive. I turned around, but saw no one. There was only emptiness and the sound of my own heart echoing in my ears. I shouted as if to dispel the eerie silence, but my voice was immediately swallowed by the heavy air. The screen flickered again, and then a new line appeared. "We will meet where you used to be." I was stunned, searching my mind for memories, but could not understand where that place was. That night, I did not sleep. I sat on the sofa, my eyes glued to the phone screen as if hypnotized. At around 4 a.m., when the sky was still misty, I heard a knock on the door, soft but urgent, regular, as if someone was patiently waiting for me to open the door. I held my breath, not daring to move. The knocking grew louder and louder, then stopped. I trembled, approached the door, and peeked through the small crack. Outside was completely empty. The long hallway was plunged into darkness without a soul. I closed the door tightly, my heart pounding. When I turned around, I almost collapsed because I saw the phone lying in the middle of the room, shining brightly, even though I clearly remembered leaving it on the table. I stepped back, but the familiar ringing sound rang again, each time, so piercing that my brain felt like it was about to explode. I had to answer the phone, and this time, that hoarse voice spoke clearly. "John, where you used to go, the old park at 3ME was stunned." The old park, where I used to go a few years ago, had been abandoned after a series of mysterious accidents. People said that there were haunted stories there, ghosts wandering around after unjust deaths. I had never believed in such stories. But now, when the voice from the phone rang, I felt my whole body go cold. I didn't want to go, but I was afraid that if I resisted, something terrible would happen. That whole night, I just huddled in my room, waiting for morning. The next day, I found Daniel and told him everything. His face turned pale when he heard it. Daniel said that the park was once the site of a tragic traffic accident that left many people burned to death in a bus. Since then, the area has been abandoned, and many people rumored that every midnight you could hear crying and phone calls. My blood froze when I heard it. Daniel advised me not to go there at all, that if I went, I would never return. But the haunting in my head kept urging me, as if an invisible hand was pulling me closer to that place. The next night, I tried to turn off my phone, even removing the battery. But at exactly 3 a.m., the ringing rang again. This time, it wasn't just from the phone, but also from all four sides of the room. The terrifying sound was all around, making me scream like crazy. I was so pressured that I picked up the phone and shouted, "What do you want?" The voice chuckled, then whispered, "Meet me at the park. If not, I will come to you first." I dropped the phone, my whole body trembling. Those creepy words were like a knife stabbing deep into my mind, making me understand that the choice was no longer mine. Asterisk, the next day, I decided to go to the park to end this nightmare. As the sun set, I put on my coat, stuffed my phone in my pocket, and drove away. The road leading to the park was dark and quiet, with only the streetlights flickering faintly. The night wind blew coldly, carrying the smell of damp earth and an indescribable gloom. When my car stopped in front of the rusty park gate, the phone screen suddenly lit up, displaying the words, "Welcome." I was sweating, my hands trembling as I opened the door and walked in. The space inside was deathly silent, each tall tree casting long shadows like hands reaching out to hold on. The chirping of insects mixed with the whistling of the wind through the rusty swings created a creepy melody. I walked slowly, my heart pounding. Then the phone rang again. I picked it up. This time the female voice rang right next to my ear. "You're here, get ready, I'm standing behind you." I turned around in shock, but saw no one. Only the swing swayed gently in the darkness. I shouted loudly, but the sound echoed, far away, then stopped. The phone screen showed a new sentence that almost made me collapse. "The game has just begun of part 2. Please follow the next episode to discover what awaits John in the deserted park at midnight."